Okay, so a few years ago, and by a few years, I mean 2017, 16, somewhere in that range, I played through Bloodborne. I believe I probably mentioned before on the channel, I'm not a huge fan of Souls-like games or Souls-like combat, but even I really fucked with Bloodborne. I just thought it was really cool. And I remember going through the DLC, which I never finished because by the time I got to the orphan, I just kind of said to myself, you know what? I'm good. Like, let me give this a good few tries. No. Am I beating it? No. Let me just go ahead and finish the game. Let me go fight Gehrman so I can move on with my life. I feel like I've gotten what I've wanted out of Bloodborne. But Ludwig was a fucking problem for me. I remember being stuck. There were a few other bosses. I remember Abritus Darling of the. Was it Darling or Daughter of the Cosmos? Maybe it was Darling of the Cosmos. I remember whenever I fought her, I'd be like, my darling Abritus. And my roommate always just kind of got a chuckle out of that. But Ludwig was a consistent fucking problem for me for what felt like a really long time. And I remember taking a day and saying, I am beating Ludwig today. And my preparation, how I was like, I'm gonna get into the mood to hype myself up, to have my blood boil, not because I'm angry, but because I'm hyped. I was listening to the Hamilton soundtrack as I was fighting him. And the song that played when I finally fucking killed him, I believe it's song number 11 on the soundtrack. That sounds right, but maybe that's wrong. But the song is Satisfied, which is a great song from Hamilton, but it perfectly described how I was feeling. I was satisfied, kicking his ass. I still remember the ending of that fight. I didn't have any blood vials left. He was getting close to dead. I'm out of blood vials. I don't have a lot of health. But there's this item. I don't remember exactly what it's called, but it's the heavy stone or some shit where because I'd never used it before in the game. But my understanding is essentially if I take it, I don't have to worry about getting stunned. So I don't have a lot of health. You don't have a lot of health. I'm going to take this thing so I can just go ham because this is it. I am either going to kill you or I am going to get killed, and I want to just go as aggro as possible. I mean, it's Bloodborne. And it worked. And I don't think I barely got him, but I got him. I have spent the past week doing the data battles in Kingdom Hearts 3 Remind on Critical. And the song that played, because same shit. It was Master Xehanort was last. I was like, I've been having some trouble with this old wrinkly asshole, and I fucking hate this guy. I need to get this done. So I know it's New Year's Eve. I know I've got friends who want to do some shit. I've got friends that are going to come over tonight. I'm really happy to see him. I did some stuff a little earlier. I was like, guys, I'm sorry. I'm doing this today. I need to do this. So after a while, I said, okay, I need to bust out the Ruby music. Because Ruby music to me is super fucking hype. Kind of like the Hamilton soundtrack. It gets my blood it doesn't get my blood boiling, it gets my blood pumping. That's the phrase I probably really needed to use. And the song that played when I sent that old fuck to the Shadow Realm is the opening of Volume 5. And as you may or may not know, the title of that track is Triumph. And like with Ludwig, like with Satisfied, that's a perfect fucking title for how I feel. I triumphed. I know there's more. I actually need to play through Remind. I haven't done that. I was like, I just really want to do the data fights. So I just kind of jumped right into the fire on that one. I was like, I do want to play Remind. It's like, yeah, the idea of actually fighting Master Xehanort as fucking Kairi sounds kind of dope. Like, I'm gonna do it. I know there's more. There's a Yozora. There's a, I don't know if that's Zach or if that's Cody. I know it's Dylan Sprouse, but I know it's one of the twins voices Yozora. I think that's kind of neat. It's like, I don't know which of those two to fight, but that's a thing. But I don't care that much. Like, I do want to try Yozora. And if I'm having fun, I will keep doing it. If there's a point where I don't think I'm having fun fighting him and I just don't care anymore, then I'm not going to do it. The reason for me, the data, I guess to kind of explain the difference between I need to beat the data fights because I felt I have to do this versus, Yozora's whatever. It's like playing through Celeste. I know I've talked about that a few times on this channel. One of my favorite games of all time. And it's such a cathartic experience. Like Madeline says, I'm climbing the mountain because it's there. Because I'm going through a lot right now. I have a lot of stress, I have a lot of anxieties, all of these external pressures and factors, and some are within my control, some are not. And I just want to be able to do something and finish something. The mountain is here. I know it's something that is not easy to do, and that's why it's important that I do it. And that's why playing Celeste always feels so important to me whenever I do play it. I can feel that catharsis of needing to climb a mountain, about dealing with bullshit, whatever that bullshit is. And again, sometimes the bullshit's in my control, sometimes it isn't. You just have to deal with it and keep climbing. There's a post-game to Celeste. There's the Heart of the Mountain DLC, then there's... Actually, I don't know if Heart of the Mountain is DLC or if it's a post-game, and then there's a whole other post-game thing. I haven't done it, because I don't really care. It might be great gameplay-wise, it might be great story-wise, I don't know. But for me, when I play Celeste, I just want to climb that mountain. Anything after, if I feel like it, sure. Like the B-sides and the C-sides and shit, is like, if I feel like it, sure. I don't need to. I just need to climb the mountain. That, to me, is kind of what the data fights in Yozora are. I've been having a lot of just stress going on the past few weeks. Just a lot of work stuff, or lack thereof, and I'm trying to start moving back in with my folks. And I've moved a lot as a kid. Generally, it would be about every 3 years or so, and what do you know, I've been living here 3 years, and now I'm starting to move. And I think my sister has told me, she's like, every 3 years or so, I start to get that itch that, like, I've been somewhere too long and I want to leave. And I'm like, I don't get that. I just want to stay. But, like, what do you know? Law school was 3 years, then I had to leave. Here, 3 years, and now I feel like I need to go. And I've been slowly but surely taking stuff away from my room. Now, like, my posters and shit are all up, but I've packed my games. I've packed at least one shelf full of movies. I'm trying to get a lot of my figures boxed, and I think I'm going to try to start, not all of them, I don't even know how many, but start listing some of them to be sold. Which I feel like is a good thing. Like, it's when you start packing them up, you realize I have way too many of these that I really don't need. I probably should just sell anyways. But something that always fucked with me when I was a kid is when you move and you go back, like you stand in your house or in your room, all of your shit is gone, and there's no trace you were ever there. And I always just felt like I'm being erased. Like I'm leaving no footprint. I'm leaving no trace that I was here. It's something that always scared me. And it was something, even in my adulthood, I really struggled with. Just that sense of, I guess that, like, legacy, you know? It's like, when I die, am I leaving anything behind? Like, did I really leave an impact upon the world? And I was able to reconcile with that during my time in law school. It's just having some conversations with some really close friends of mine. I realized it's like, yeah, there is an impact there. There's a lot of people that I became very close to and still feel very close to. Like, whenever I see them, I get happy. Like, I've been to a lot of their weddings. I look forward to my law school friends' weddings. Like, cool, it's a group gathering. Yay! And I'm like, man, I'm starting to run out of friends who are getting married. So pretty soon the pressure's gonna be on me. Fucking whoops. But, I realized, like, no, I have had a big impact on a lot of people in my life. And it makes me do feel really happy. I don't know if that was proper English. It does make me feel happy. It do be feeling pretty nice. So that feeling of, like, the existential erasure, it's not something that really fucks with me anymore. But just seeing where all my stuff used to be and, like, just gradually seeing my impact here going away with every box I pack and every shelf I pack and every, like, surface that I'm cleaning. I'm like, I still don't like it. And it's something that has been affecting my mood. Like, I feel like I have been a bit more irritable. I've been a lot less, like, man, like, I'm gonna go out and do shit lately. I'm not, like, super depressed or anything, but I can feel it. Some friends of mine were playing Kingdom Hearts, and I'm like, I love some Kingdom Hearts. I love watching people play Kingdom Hearts. I love actually playing Kingdom Hearts, like watching them fight some of the super bosses. Specifically, I was watching them fight too. Sephiroth, the data fights, Lingering One. I'm like, all right, pass the sticks real quick. Like, I gotta fight Roxas. All right, give me a few shots at Terra. I fucking hate this fight, but I'm gonna do it. I might get my ass beat, but let's go. And, like, it's so fun. I realized I never did them in 3. Because I don't like 3. I have a lot of problems with 3. And I did not want to pay half the price of the full game to do this shit. One of my roommates has it, and I'm like, alright, fine. Let's do it. I'm now in the mood. I'm gonna do this. Like, people have been playing Kingdom Hearts. It makes me want to play Kingdom Hearts. Here's the big thing in Kingdom Hearts that I didn't do. Let's do it. So for the past week, I've been doing it. I had beaten Lurch Scene previously. I don't remember if that was earlier this year or last year. I remember I was like, fine, I'll do the data fights. I did hers and was kind of trying to learn the others. I think I was working on either Terranor or Vanitas, and at some point I was like, I just don't really want to do this shit anymore. I hate Kingdom Hearts 3, so it stopped. And I want to get back into it. It's like, I know I've beaten Lurch Scene. I'm considering that one done. There's 12 to go. So I believe the order was Asod, Handsome Seeker of Darkness, which I didn't really enjoy. I got him done, but I just didn't have a lot of fun in the fight. YX, which I call Young Xehanort, incredibly fun fight. I can't stand Young Xehanort. Like, just as a character, for the plot, like, the second... I remember when I was playing through Dream Drop when it came out, and that cutscene when you get to the world that never was, and he's talking to Sora about, like, yeah, so, like, I went back in time and did some shit, like, convinced myself to turn evil and blah, blah, blah. I was like, I damn near turned off the game because I thought this was fucking stupid, and I hated it. I feel like, to me, Young Xehanort just represents everything I fucking hate about Kingdom Hearts, and I hated his fight in Dream Drop because I didn't understand Balloonga. His data fight is so good. It is incredibly fun. Like, he is incredibly aggressive, but he has a very distinct attack pattern, very distinct tells, and that makes the fight fun because I feel like I am learning shit. I'm learning what he does, when I can attack, what triggers his revenge value, and what he does trigger from his revenge value, how I can avoid that trigger, and just all of that shit, and it's so good. After him was Marluxia. Marluxia was a problem. I was having a lot of trouble with some of his attacks. That was basically my Christmas day. It was just off and on fighting Marluxia. But as frustrating as it was, because I kept losing, it was really, really fun. Who did I beat after him? After him was Luxord, who... I like the idea of Luxord's fight, because I think a lot of his actual minigames, like surrounding himself with cards, the find the mines and shit, I think they're actually kind of fun. The problem I had is I don't know what abilities it is that were on Sora that... The way he was okay, so the problem A is sometimes I would try to attack something and Sora would go for something else because the camera wanted him to do that. It was like, oh, that fucked me up. Thanks, buddy. Or other times, like, all right, I'm going to attack this. And Sora's attacking super wide and hits something else in a fight where you have to be really fucking precise. Like, that's ass. And I'm going to be completely open. I don't understand what to do for Luxord's DM. It's, okay, you have to pick the right card, but my timing and reaction time is really fucking slow. So I could not beat his DM. And I was like, oh, I think I'm kind of getting it. I win, Sora. I'm like, do I just lose the fight? No. But he got a lot of time back, and I lost a lot of time. But I beat him anyway, so it didn't matter? It's like, I don't know if I feel like I earned it, but I did it, so sure. Next was Xigbar. Ziggy was super fun. He's really easy, and I think it's because as you're blocking, which you really need to do in that fight, you're consistently doing damage. I kind of just stumbled my way through his DM. I think it was a combination of, like, Ultimate Form's finisher for iframes. I went into Rage Form and used those iframes. It's how I got through ASOD at the end, was he was doing the final part of his DM, which I was really struggling with. I was like, okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to pop Rage Form, do the Rage Form thingies, and I'm going to use the finisher. And I am going to pray to God that by using the finisher, not only can I do a little bit of damage to him, but I can use those iframes to bypass the end of his DM, because I know he's open for a combo after, and if he's open, then I'm just gonna go for the combo and kill him, and it is exactly what happened. It was like, that was kind of some bullshit and some cheese, but there was some strategy to it. Xigbar was kind of the same. It's like, I kind of stumbled through that, but I learned the rest of the fight, and it's super fun. There's an actual reaction command in it, and it's really fun. I hate Saïx. Gosh, that fight was an all-dayer. It was so hard. I had a lot of trouble in his second phase. His first phase is not a problem. The second phase, I was having a lot of trouble getting the openings and really learning what I could block and what was unblockable. I eventually got through it, but I did not have fun fighting Saïx. Who was next? There was someone else I beat that day. I don't think it was Vanitas. Oh, Vanitas is so fucking fun. Vanitas is like, there's an argument to be made that Vanitas was my favorite of the data fights. He does not have a lot of openings, but it becomes very clear what his openings are. And you can stop his DM. He might be the only boss you could do that. But like, when the Keyblade starts swirling around him, we just Thundaga, and it stops. And he's not like, oh shit, well now I'm gonna do it again. No, he just doesn't do it. And it's funny as fuck. Yes, there is something incredibly satisfying about genuinely beating a DM, about knowing the block strings, the dodging, the blockables, the unblockables, all that kind of shit, and fucking conquering it. There's also something kind of fun about, I got through most of it, and there's a part where I sort of struggle, so I was able to bullshit and cheese my way through it, but I got it done. But there is something and so inherently fucking satisfying about looking a boss in the eye and saying, no, you don't get to do that. Fuck you, buddy. And it's great. And I feel like I really like the fight outside of that. But that in particular is just kind of the icing on the take. It's amazing. So what? I think that's 7, and then, Lorxine as well. After that was that 7? Am I missing someone? Okay, after that was Xemnas. Xemnas might be my favorite. I had no fucking clue what to do for Xemnas for a good chunk of the fight. And I will say, for some of the fights, I actually watched guides for a lot of the fights. Some of them I didn't. What I really tried to do was, I want to do the fight by myself. See what I can learn. Like, what can I learn in, like, some of the block strings, some of the openings. And when I get to that point where, like, I'm just hitting a wall, I am not learning anything anymore, let me watch a guide to really try to figure out, like, supplement those gaps in my knowledge. Yeah, I was just hitting a fucking wall with Xemnas. And I was like, okay, this is the block string for this, the block string for this. And then I started to realize, oh, this is his pattern. Okay, this is how his DM works. Okay. Xemnas might actually be my favorite. It's so fun, and I love his DM. That is not one where I was like, I kind of stumbled through. I fucking learned that one. I was able to fucking beat it. And given what it references for the end of KH2, I'm like, I don't need Triangle X to get through this, but fuck, this is so cool. After that was Terranort. Terranort was a pain in my ass, but I got him. He's also one of those where his pattern is very easy to learn because it's essentially, he's going to do one of 3 different things, and then he'll do the other 2. Then he's going to do this specific thing, then a mini DM, then he's going to cycle through the 3 things again, then he'll have another mini DM, then he cycles. Like, he's very easy to figure out. It's just, make sure you get the timing down, because these fights are, like, a lot of them, especially Master Xehanort, feel very precise with their timing. Once you start to get the timing down, they're generally not that bad. They become a lot more manageable. Then we get the last 3. Riku fucking sucked. I think Riku... Okay, Master Xehanort is probably my least favorite. Riku, though, is probably my least favorite. I didn't have fun fighting him. I was just like, this makes me think... I feel like I'm a kid playing Kingdom Hearts 1 again. And it's getting kind of dark. And that's not an intentional Kingdom Hearts thing. Let me put on the light. I kept missing the thing. I felt like a kid playing Kingdom Hearts 1 again. And not in the way where I'm like, nostalgia, my childhood, light, hearts, friends, eat, means hard. I felt like, no, I'm getting my ass blasted by Riku and I can't do anything about it. This is dog shit. What I hate about the Riku fight is there's not a pattern. He has specific moves, but it just feels like he'll do them in whatever order he feels like, and there's kind of nothing you can do about it. And some of his openings, like, that's an opening? Really? Like, I didn't even realize that was an opening. Like, it's, again, like, the timing on him is so tight. I just did not have fun fighting him. Shion is an absolute nightmare, and I fucking hated it, and I loved it at the exact same time. Shion has a very distinct pattern. She's gonna do this, then this, then this, and then just learning what to do, when to attack, when to block, when it's safe to reprise, when I shouldn't reprise because it throws off my timing. It's so fun. But there's 2 mechanics she has that I don't love. One is if you get hit by a thing of light, your max HP goes down. I just don't like that. And the stunning, which is why I fucking hated fighting Saïx, is getting stunned. I don't love that. Not even I don't love it, like, I fucking hate it. You're already really fast and really strong and really aggressive. That's enough. You don't have to throw more bullshit on the fire. And yeah, like, use nano gear. Like, that's what I ended up having to do. But just, I didn't like it. But the rest of that fight is so good. And the music in all these fights is really good. I think Shion's is the best. It's so, so good. I don't think I enjoy it quite as much as Xemnas overall. Because I feel like those mechanics in the fight, to me, hold it back. I feel like the way I can best describe Shion's fight, it's like the data battle with Roxas in 2, if Roxas also had these bullshit mechanics that just, they feel like fake difficulties. Like, here's extra shit to make the fight harder because fuck you, rather than just, this is how strong the boss is. Like, I don't know. I just didn't care for it. I hated fighting Master Xehanort. What I hated about this fight is it felt like so many times I was dying, not because I didn't understand the fight, because that makes sense. It's because I understand how the fight works, what his pattern is, what I'm supposed to do to dodge this, and when he's open, and I'm doing the exact same shit that I've been doing that has been working, and it just wouldn't. It's like, okay, when he does this, this is how I need to dodge now. I need to dodge in this direction. And sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't. And when it didn't, I would fucking get killed. That's what bothered me. There were times where I was like, I am able to do... So after his first DM, then he doesn't immediately throw the magic bomb. It's laser, laser, laser. Fly in, fly in, fly in. Magic bomb 5 times. No, it's not 5. I think it's 6. It's 5 or 6. I don't remember. But he does that. Then he flies in, throws another bomb, hits you, lasers. But if you reprise, you get a free combo. There are times when I am able to do enough damage to him there, where he'll immediately trigger his DM. And there's other times where I don't. And it's not even just like, oh, I'm not doing enough damage. It's like there's times where I could combo him for a while, and other times where he just didn't let me. And sometimes he wouldn't let me. He's like, you've done enough damage, kiddo. I gotta do my DM real quick. And other times it's, no, I'm gonna do the grand magic throw. And it was like, it was noticeably inconsistent. And the inconsistencies bothered the hell out of me. That's why I don't like Riku. There's not a consistent pattern. There's the tells and vulnerabilities are consistent, but the pattern isn't. Master Xehanort has a consistent pattern, but to me, it felt like even that, like, Clay was watching me do it, and he's like, you know what's frustrating about watching you do this? It's very clear you know exactly how the fight works. And yeah, he's like, I'm not actually touching the controller, so I can't tell, like, how tight I know the timing's super tight, but it looks like you are doing the exact same shit every time, and sometimes it just says no. But I did it. And the song that played when I fucking killed him was Triumph. Because I fucking did. When I was trying to fight him last night, I was taking my losses really, really personally. It wasn't just this is frustrating. This dude is ass. That's how it felt with, like, everyone else. Like, Riku, I wasn't like, oh my goodness, this is affecting me on a personal level. I was like, no, I fucking hate this guy. Something about Master Xehanort was. I was like, I need to stop right now because something's wrong here. And then as I was thinking about it last night, I was like, yeah, I get it. This is something I need to do because it's hard. Because it's there. Because I need to have that feeling of triumph over overwhelming odds, overwhelming obstacles, and overwhelming bullshit. Whether it is through kind of stumbling through it, whether it is through genuine, well-earned grit, or something in between, I need to end my year on a victory, and I need to feel like I took some control. Because I'm trying to do that in my life right now. It's like, I know that I need to go home to figure shit out and get things in order. I need to be able to take control and feel like I can stand up to that shit. Because there are things in my life that are fully out of my control. And I understand that. But that doesn't mean I can just sit there and get blasted by meteors and call it a day. I need to control the things I can control and get better. So this helped. I feel like it did. Bahamut, you have anything you want to add? No, well, a little bit. You know, he kind of was looking down, stretched out his arm, and started licking it. Oh yeah, you can't tell, but like Bahamut kind of fucked up my arm the other day. And then like a couple days later, it was like, oh, that looks really bad. But he's a sweetheart. He does this thing where like he'll sit on my arm and he'll just kind of like knead it for a bit. And sometimes he does it with his paws. Sometimes he'll do it with full-on claws, and like that's what fucked me up. But he's a sweet boy. I think that's really all I have to say for this one. I just finished it. Felt like I just wanted to talk about it, get that out there. The last time I checked, the Saints were beating the Buccaneers. I hope that stands. And like even going into this week, I was like, dude, do I even want the Saints to win? Do I want them to lose a game? I mean, no. Do I want them to lose to a division rival when we still have hope for the playoffs? I mean, no, but even if they win, they have to win next week against the Falcons, which we should be able to do, but we did it earlier in the year. Then the Bucs have to lose to the Panthers, which could happen, but probably won't. We need both of those things to happen, and while maybe one could, I kind of doubt both will. I feel like this is endemic of what the season is as a whole. There's that little bit of hope just for it to get snuffed out. It's like, I don't feel like, yes, they won. Assuming they did. I don't know 100%. Like, yes, they did it. I have hope. Fuck, I have to hope for another week. Then it can get snuffed out. Fuck. But, that's my New Year's. But you know what? Assuming the Saints held on, because I was going to wear the shirt anyways, I can take that and be happy. I beat that wrinkly old fuck. I'm happy. I got my triumph. I got my win. Excuse me. Sorry. Have a happy New Year. If you watched like the ball drop, if you have a New Year's party, if you're just hanging out by yourself, I hope you had a really good 2023. I hope you have a very peaceful end to it. Even if you have like a party and it's kind of chaotic, I hope you feel at peace with the end of your year, with the start of your next one. I hope it is blessed. I hope it is successful. I think that's it. Happy New Year.